Hey guys, welcome to BitBoy Crypto. Today I'm going to be addressing Nouriel Roubini, the most hated man in all of cryptocurrency. And you know, the first time I made this video, it was 25 minutes long and I lost it to some technical issues. And you know, my tone in that video was angry. And actually, the more that I did the video and the more I got into it, I realized I'm not really angry about what he said, and there's a very specific reason for that. And it boils down to Nouriel Roubini is one of two things. There's nothing in the middle. He can only be one of two different things. He can either be the world's biggest crypto troll or an idiot. So wait, and into the video, we're going to get into why. I'm going to dig some stuff up, show you a lot of things. It's hard for me to do this video. I really, like, in terms of I want it to be less than about 15 minutes. Who knows? There's so much to unpack here. So let's jump into it. But before we do, make sure you're a subscriber to our community. We call it the Bit Squad. We're giving away $500 worth of Ethereum and merch. All you got to do is like and comment on this video and all of our videos in October and November, and you get yourself the maximum number of entries. We're going to pick 14 winners. It's a great contest. Everybody loves our contest, so make sure you take part. Come for the contest, stay for the content. That's like my new slogan. I just came up with it on the spot. So, okay, guys, let's jump in. This is the tweet that really set everything off, and I want you guys to notice something, okay? Okay, mudslinging, name-calling. I got an entire army of thousands of crypto lunatics, crazies, barking dogs, trolls, bots, shills, hacks, insulting me and threatening 24/7 for weeks now, and not one of them could rebut any of my arguments in my 30-page written testimony, a motley crew of nuts. And we'll talk about that in just a second because that's an asinine statement from him, which many things that he says are asinine. Well, notice the numbers on this. 15 retweets, 58 likes, and 32 comments, which this is actually a very controversial post that he did. Let's kind of go through and look at most of his content here, okay? 9 comments, 1 retweet, 63 likes, 74 likes. Pretty good. I mean, he's got some decent engagement for someone with 452,000 followers. This guy can't get but 6 comments and 22 likes on a picture when he's got 452,000 followers. So my first thought was like, okay, this guy's got to have a lot of fake followers. Because if you know anything about Twitter engagement, I mean, this is pretty similar engagement to what like a lot of my posts get, and I don't even have 10,000 followers yet. What am I at? I think I'm about to hit 8,000 maybe 7,000. I don't even know. I don't keep up with it like that. But my engagement is pretty good. Other people, there are people in Twitter with less than 20,000 followers that get a ton more engagement than this guy. So I thought to myself, let's go to Twitter Audit and check out his score. Surely he's got a lot of fake followers. It's even worse. He doesn't have any. He's got a 92% score, which is pretty good. The last time I did one, I had 99%. Shout out to all you real people. But that was early on in my account. Here, he's got 34,000 supposed fake followers, which sounds like a lot, but he's got almost 416,000 real followers, and this guy can't get any engagement on his posts. It's absolutely insane. This means that all these people that are following him absolutely do not care about him. He's irrelevant to even the people that follow him. So why is that important? Well, how can you become relevant? You pick a controversial, hot topic, not the store where you get trendy tees if that thing's still around, or you get some spiky belts, but I'm talking about a hot topic that gets a lot of attention, crypto. If you dig a little deeper into his Twitter analytics, you'll see crypto is one of the things, well, actually over the last couple of weeks, it's the #1 word that he's used on Twitter has been crypto. He keeps pulling it up. This is why it boils down to this. This man is either an idiot and boring, or he is a manipulative troll. And I tend to believe the latter more than the former. But, you know, if you go to his Twitter account, and I don't want to give him like too much publicity on his Twitter account, almost everything here is about crypto. And here's another thing, another anti-Semitic cryptophile. He calls us cryptophiles. As soon as you nudge them just a little, they come out of their Nazi caves and show their true fascist colors. Now, yes, this tweet here below that he did retweet seems to be anti-Semitic, or maybe it is, or I will just say it seems to be anti-Semitic, but he seems to always want to call people who disagree with him anti-Semitic, and I have a real problem with that. I would believe that probably most people that follow this guy don't even know his ethnicity or his religion or any of those things. I didn't follow him, of course, but I had no idea until I started digging a little deeper to see what he was. The fact is, if you're into crypto, you're not anti-Semitic by nature, but it seems to be something that he wants to do. Why? Well, if you're a manipulative troll, how do you continue to do the things you're doing? Well, one way is to play the victim. If you're always playing the victim, which he does consistently through his Twitter feed here, then you'll see, or if he's able to keep playing the victim and getting sympathy, he gets sympathy from people. Look at this tweet here from someone who disagrees with him, and then yet at the same time, sympathizes with him, which is very, very, very interesting. Okay, I had to find it. Here it is. It says, Nouriel, one thing, it's supposed to say thing there, you can't accuse him of is disingenuousness. The man calls it like he sees it, and while I, of course, disagree with him with his views on crypto, his sentiment on crypto Twitter seems spot on. Yes, you're right. He's not disingenuous. He's not disingenuous. Everything he says is right, is transparent. Let's see what kind of person this Nouriel Roubini is. So I found this article from 2009. Yes, guys, I'm digging deep to give you the info. And it comes from a website called The Intelligencer. I had actually never even heard of it, and so I was actually like, I saw this article and I was like, yes, a gold nugget. I love it. And I was like, oh, I hope it's not fake. Did a little more research on this and found out that there were many other articles published about the same exact story, the same exact situation, including Business Insider and other reputable publications. So I feel pretty confident reporting this from April 2009. I'm basically going to read it. So it says, an economist, bad party joke coming up. An economist is someone who knows 1001 sexual positions but doesn't have a girlfriend. Nouriel Roubini quipped last night in his speech at Israeli charity, the OR Movement's dinner, to honor his work as an economist. But judging by the company kept throughout the night, we never saw him without a drink in hand and at least 2 girls on his arm. This was false modesty. And here we go, we continue. The recession has been great for me, says Roubini, whose nickname of Dr. Doom belies the permanent grin on his face, told us when we caught up with him later as a line of girls formed to be photographed next to him. They love my beautiful mind, he confided. I am ugly, but they're attracted to the brains. I'm a rock star among geeks, wonks, and nerds, showing this fake humility that he carries around, and he believes that he is a rock star in this little community, and yet he can't even get people on Twitter to engage with him unless he attacks cryptocurrency. So, and like many rock stars, Roubini is notorious for his parties, which he holds in a vagina-walled downtown loft. I have never been to any of his loft parties, Bachelor Charlie Rose, another scumbag, said when introducing The Economist. But I've met some of his friends, and I'd like to. Now we know Charlie Rose is a creeper, so this doesn't surprise us. The crowd, silk and silicone for the girls, giant Rolexes for the guy, chuckled knowingly he knows a lot of foxes. So what makes his party so great? Here we go. Another interesting thing. Fun people and beautiful girls, Roubini said, were grinning. I look for 10 girls to 1 guy. His friend Bill Clinton, he added, is a fan of this ratio. Now, he's also said, now, of course, Bill Clinton was a speaker at Swell for Ripple. I'm sure he was paid greatly for that, which influences a lot of people's decisions on where to speak, just like probably they do with Roubini as well. But he has aligned himself with a liberal way of thinking. This is not a political statement by me. He has had several statements come out where he's spoken out against Donald Trump. And actually, he seems to be pushing for a recession. And we'll look at that here in a little bit. Because it said earlier in the article, he was the king of the recession. He did very, very well in it. So probably if another recession comes, that's his plan as well. So it says, but Dr. Doom's life is not all fun and games. He hasn't had a date, he said, since he became the official economist of the crash. I spend 80% of my time traveling, he explained before swanning off into the crowd. Maybe I'll find someone tonight. You never know. You have to be open. Oh, remember the disingenuous thing? Watching him work the room, or at least the perfume-scented sections of it, we asked Grammy-winning Israeli violinist Miri Ben Ari, who knows Roubini well, if it was true he was really in a dating drought. She smiled knowingly. Don't believe everything he tells you, she said. Yes, the most genuine person. And as you guys know on this channel, I am genuine with you guys through and through. Probably too honest, as I've said a few times. My life is kind of an open book, and I'm okay with that. This guy is not. He's not about transparency. He's not about being honest and genuine. There's like 8 lies, he said, within this one article that was written about him, from quotes that he said directly that were later contradicted by other people, or just a lot of people understood immediately that he was not being genuine about the things he was saying. That's part of this guy's shtick. It's a troll act. He's constantly trolling and reverse trolling people. And this is all that this is with crypto. Here we go. We have a site, thinkingheads.com, which is one of his booking agents. They book him for these big keynote conferences. You have a guy on Twitter who can't even get his own followers to care about anything he says unless he attacks crypto, but yet he's constantly trying to find these speaking engagements to go and try to profit off of his opinions about crypto. I think he's actually pretty smart. He's a smart promoter. He knows how to promote himself. As it said in the article, he knows how to work a room. So it stands to reason that a lot of these comments he's making against crypto may be getting him other jobs or speaking engagements in the future, especially from, like, if you had a banking conference, for instance. Are there banking conferences? That sounds like the most boring thing in the world. But professional financial services conference, whatever they may be, then he could actually become a speaker there because he lines up with his beliefs of centralization with a lot of what the professional financial people want to believe, because they know that down the road, cryptocurrency can affect the overall scope of what is being done in the financial world. So I have this article here from September 18th from Nouriel Roubini, or about him, where he talked about voodoo economics is about to kill the bull market. Of course, he's talking about the actual stock market. And here it says, it's voodoo economics. Reagan tried it. Bush tried it. Once again, the liberal bias coming out, not a political statement by me, but obviously there is a liberal bias that he has on what he's saying, which, as we've seen, okay, there is seemingly this thing developing politically where we have Republican and conservative people, or Republican and conservative politicians and leaders seeming to be a little more friendly to cryptocurrency than the left and the liberal Democrat side of the U.S. political aisle. We've seen this so many times, I reported on it several times, comments that have been made from people like Brad Sherman, who came out, who's a Democratic senator, I believe, or congressman. I think he's a congressman, at a hearing, and basically just ran his mouth about cryptocurrency. He didn't even really understand it. Then it turns out he's got credit card processing companies are his biggest donors. So, who knows who may be in Roubini's ear? That's a whole different, a whole different thing if we want to go that route. But there is this thing that's developing, and of course, most people on crypto Twitter, including myself, we tend to lean more libertarian, more in the middle than on the extremes of either side. And so we have him now revealing somewhat of this bias. And of course, I didn't base this strictly on this quote alone. I also based this on things he said about Donald Trump and some other quotes I have found from him. And he definitely seems to relate libertarians with fascists as well. So he's really kind of painting this corner of the world where he's right about everything. And anyone who believes anything else politically or anything else financially about cryptocurrency is absolutely wrong. Now, let's talk about some of these things that are in this article, which he believes that the U.S. financial markets are going to crash. And so it makes no sense. He's talking about a perfect storm for a crash, and yet he's downing cryptocurrency that could be used to hedge against losses in the financial markets. People do that with gold or with silver. They hedge their bets in different places. So cryptocurrency could be one of these things. An interesting thing in this article, it talks about in 2008, we had the ability through policy to do things like do bailouts, and those bailouts allowed us not to free fall into like a full depression. And he's saying that this time when it crashes, it probably will occur and that the bottom will completely drop out. While I don't actually believe that, I do believe the markets will go down somewhat, the stock markets that is. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, but he seems to be cheering for it to happen because two reasons. Number one, like I said, he's already shown a political bias towards the current administration. And number two is because he's already said he was the economist of the crash. He's trying to position himself to once again be the go-to person that people would look to during the crash for information because he's once again promoting his own brand. That's all this guy is doing. And why am I so sure about this? Well, if we head over here to this article and we talk about what he actually said in this supposedly unrebuttable paper he wrote for the testimony, it's asinine. Here it says, Roubini was president, or not president, thank God he's not president. Roubini was present at an informational hearing round exploring the cryptocurrency and blockchain ecosystem organized by the U.S. Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs. So it says Roubini ranted against crypto on several accounts during his testimony, calling Bitcoin the mother of all scams, troll, and blockchain the most hyped technology ever. He continuously reminded the Senate that only criminals use crypto, that mining is bad for the environment, that decentralization is ridiculous, good argument, that most tokens are non-compliant securities, that utility tokens take society back to the Stone Age, that blockchain is no better than spreadsheets, and that no corporation or government would like to run a state on a public ledger. Yes, a full list of reasons that we would see anyone trying to troll cryptocurrency bring about. Of course, criminals using crypto, totally been debunked time after time. Cash is easier to run scams with or to hide money or money launder because crypto, especially Bitcoin's got to this point where it's not actually untraceable. Okay, mining is bad for the environment. Okay, but we have a lot of projects that are switching over to proof of stake, which is not harmful to the environment. So all of these mining operations might look different in the future. Cryptocurrency is on a path. It's not in its fully grown state yet. Just like Chairman Giancarlo from the CFTC said, if you watched our news video earlier, crypto still has to mature. So it's a process. Now, here is my favorite part. He says that decentralization is ridiculous. What kind of tangible argument is that to say something is ridiculous in a testimony? Is that provable? Can you prove that it is ridiculous? What's the line? Give me your ridiculous meter. I think you would score pretty high on it, sir. But once again, a very intelligent person coming out and saying something that is unprovable for his testimony. And then we're going to get into, in a minute, something he said that's absolutely wrong in his testimony. So now, actually, if you follow him on Twitter, he's calling out Vitalik Buterin. People are trying to get him and Andreas Antonopoulos to debate. I think these people would absolutely destroy him. I think he would probably run from those situations. Actually, you know what? I rethought that he probably wouldn't because all publicity is good publicity. Once again, this is his motive. So he also says most tokens are non-compliant securities. We're still trying to figure out the regulation. Utility tokens take society back to the Stone Age. Wow. Okay. You mean back when we used to trade peer-to-peer and we didn't need people reaching into our pockets in order for us to send value to a different person? Well, maybe that was a better financial system than the one we have now. Blockchain is no better than spreadsheets. Okay. Yes, blockchain or Bitcoin is an immutable ledger. Most cryptocurrencies have blockchain behind them, which is an immutable ledger, which you can kind of think of a permanent Excel spreadsheet. And why is that important? Well, it's important because with an immutable ledger or spreadsheet over time, we're able to keep history on that blockchain. Does anyone know what happened during the Dark Ages? Some people believe the Dark Ages didn't even exist. Why? Because there's like this huge gap in human communication, different things going on during that time. You can look more into it. I can't remember. Phantom time theory, I think. Whatever it is. I don't necessarily subscribe to it, but there's no way to refute people that believe that because we don't have a lot of evidence of what was going on during that time. With blockchain, you have everything locked into history. 200 to 500 years from now, if we haven't destroyed the earth or each other, if people need to understand what happened during this time, there's a blockchain ledger, an immutable spreadsheet. You could pull up that immutable spreadsheet and look and see all of the events that happened during this year or whatever it might be. And there's no way to erase it. That's the beautiful thing about it. Have you ever been working on an Excel spreadsheet and you lost it? I know I have. I made 2 videos earlier and lost both of them. So, and didn't get to publish them. So I know that's frustrating. But imagine if you never lost a document. I know it's happened to all of us. So you could relate to that. And then he said, no corporation or government would like to run a state on a public ledger. Well, who above all people would not want to have something that is unchangeable, that is immutable? Well, a government that's made a ton of mistakes and don't want those mistakes keep coming up. So I agree with you. The current way we do politics and we have countries and nations, the governments who are about control and about smoke and mirrors, they don't want you to know what they're up to and what they've done. So of course they wouldn't want that. That doesn't mean it's not a good system. I'm like Steven Crowder, changing my mind on this. I would love for someone to try to do that. So then said Roubini also tried to present evidence of how a thriving industry like crypto is poised to fail. He said Bitcoin transactions are $55. Very, very, very misleading. Yes, the transactions were out of control in January and late December. We understand that. That was because Bitcoin was not ready for the spotlight yet. And the bear market is probably good in a lot of ways for us to solidify what crypto and Bitcoin is going to look like in the future and what it's going to be able to handle. So yes, there were transaction fees that were extremely high back during that time. But if you were to send a huge amount of value, such as $1 million, then that $55 doesn't sound like a lot. So it was very misleading. Then he said like 51% attacks are super easy to do. Yes, on small crappy projects or unsecure projects like Verge, yes, they are easy to do. On something like Bitcoin, it is not actually easy. It would take an absolutely insane amount of hash power to be able to do that. I don't think anyone could ever actually get that much and do it. But once again, even if that was the case, we're still in a growing process with cryptocurrency. So what he said was very misleading. He obviously has a vendetta against cryptocurrency, and it's not really a true vendetta from my perspective because, like I said before, this guy is trying to troll us. So even in some way, by me taking the time and making this video, I have actually helped him in his trolling efforts, helped him to be able to spread his message of hate for crypto. But this is a time for us as a community to rise up and say, we won't put up with this type of stuff. And yes, it would be great if people could arrange him to debate with Andreas Antonopoulos, because I know who would win that debate. So ultimately, it's up to you to decide. Is he an idiot and he's uninformed and doesn't know? Or is he a master manipulative troll? I believe, like I said at the outset of this video, he is a troll 100%, and he's not even really doing that great of a job. This man's whole image is about staying relevant. Everything he wants to do to stay relevant, because guess what, guys? If he's not getting engagement on his Twitter, if he's not getting people asking him to come do speaking engagements, then surely having the two girls on both arms at parties will also go away. And he seems like quite the creeper by reading that that article about what his apartment looks like and about his weird parties and all this stuff. So, you know, he said he was the ugliest man in the room, but he's a rock star among geeks. Yeah, well, you got low expectations for what you're doing with your life. So anyways, guys, that is all I've got. You guys let me know. What do you guys think? You think he's an idiot or do you think he's a troll? I would love to hear your comments below. Drop them. Until next time, BitBoy out.